Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my session, and here I am Muhammad Mohammad Hussain, lecturer, Department of Accounting, Government Hussain Said Sarwardi College, Magura. And today I am going to take a session on chapter 2nd. And today I'll discuss on creative question solution based on transaction and the effects of transactions on accounting equation. Dear learners, I am expecting that you have observed my previous classes, and today this class is number 5, and I hope so you understand the previous class very clearly. Before observing this class, you have to understand the previous class very clearly. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to understand sharply. I am expecting that now you will observe and understand this session so swiftly. So let's go to the respective topics and we will solve the question solution. At the end of this session, we will understand and we will realize very clearly what are the basic elements of accounting equation and the elements contains and the contents of those particular elements. Even after that, number 2 and subsection A, which events are not a transaction and in total how much they are. 2 subsection B, to identify the transactions from the various events by maintaining the accounting equation, and we will explain that particular transactions. Number 3, that means 2 subsection C, what are the particular effects of transactions on accounting equation. We know very well assets equal to liabilities plus owner's equity, that means equity. Here A for assets, L for liabilities, E for equity. You are watching furniture, car, machineries, computer, cash, buildings. These are the best examples in front of you. Assets. These are the examples of assets. Okay. Besides, there are so many important assets are as follows. Lease assets, bank deposits, advance expenses, due incomes, inventories, investment, accounts receivable, debtors. These are the best examples of assets also. Liabilities. Purchased products on credit, That means we have to pay the amount at the end of maturity. So we are liable to pay. If we take a loan from any party, we have to give the loan. Here, bank loan. That means if we take loan from bank, also we have to pay at the end of maturity. So these are the examples of liability. That means liability means third party has a claim on the assets of business, and the business have to pay at the end of maturity. So it is the third party's claim. Liabilities means third party's claim on corporation assets, and the business must need to pay at the end of maturity. Besides, there are so many liabilities. These are creditors, bank overdrafts, advance income, due expenses, loan, accounts payable, suppliers, product suppliers on credit. Before providing service or product, if we take amount or money, it will be treated as advance income. That means unearned revenue. So it is a liability. Example, say for example, in case of due expenses, salaries has been incurred by the employees, but the amount has yet not been paid. So it is a liability. Okay. So these are the examples of liability: creditors, bank overdrafts, unearned revenue, dues, expenses, loan, accounts payable, and product suppliers, product or service suppliers. Okay. So dear learners, now it is time to clarify the equity. I have also said these are the examples of assets: car, cash, buildings. Within the bracket, these are the assets. Now, from the assets, we have to deduct the liabilities. Liabilities means I have already said about the examples: purchase product on credit, loan from third parties, loan from banks. Within the brackets, these are the liabilities. So if we deduct liabilities from assets, then we will get owner's equity. We will get equity or owner's equity. So the accounting equation means A equal to L plus E. In another way, we may say that from this equation we will get E equal to E. E equal to A minus L. We may say it as like, again, L minus A minus E. That means from the first equation we may show by this two way. By this two way we may show. That is, from this equation we will get also this equation. Okay. So dear learners, and my dear friends, you are watching the effect of transactions on accounting equation, its practical solution. So A equal to assets, L equal to liabilities, C equal to capital, R equal to revenue, EX indicates expenses, D equal to drawings. In case of extended equation, accounting equation, we have to explain the particular elements in this one. So now, the extended accounting equation will be A equal to L plus E. From A equal to L plus E, the extended equation will be A equal to L. But E means C plus R, E means C plus R minus EX minus D within the bracket. I've already said A for assets, L for liabilities, C for capital, R for revenue, EX for expenses, D for drawings. Okay. So these are the examples of assets: cash, furniture, inventories. Cash, furniture, inventories. These are the own assets of the owner. Own assets of the owner. Here, there are some examples in front of you. Cash, merchandise, that means inventories. These are the assets of business. So from here, the owner of the business may draw this amount or may use these inventories. These will be treated as drawings. Now these are the examples of income. That means sold products, receive commission, sold product, receive commission, interest of investment, dividend received, sub-rents rent, amount of provision period. These are the examples of income. So again, it is time to observe some expenses. Example of some expenses: purchase products, goods or products; transportation for the purpose of purchasing; rent expenses; convoy expenses, transportation expenses; office rent, salary, electric bill, telephone bill, utility bill are the examples of expenses. Okay. Now, equity, the effect of equity. Observe very clearly, 4 items usually effect on equity: capital investment, income. These items will increase the equity. Expenses and drawings by the owner. These 2 items will decrease the equity. Okay, these 4 items is very important for you to understand very clearly for calculation of equation. Okay. So if assets increase, Yes, that means liability will increase or equity will be increased. If assets decreases, then liability will be decreased or equity will be decreased. If one assets increase, that means another assets will decrease, or if any equity increases, then liability will decrease. If equity decrease, liability will be increased. Now it is high time for the learners to be open the door for solving the practical problem. Creative questions on transactions. Mr. Tamim Iqbal, he has a business on 2018 June. This below transactions has been made. Tamim Iqbal has been made the below transactions on 2018 month of June. On month of June, June 1, he started his business with cash taka 60,000 and furniture 20,000. He started his business with cash amount 60,000 and by furniture whose amount was 20,000. So it is mentionable that cash has increased, furniture has increased side by side, 60 plus 20. How much amount? 80,000. Capital has also increased. Am I right? Assets has increased, capital has also increased. So on June 3, a manager has appointed and it is noted that he will get 10,000 taka salary at the end of month. This is a appointment letter. It is a deed. It is not a transaction because no amount has been exchanged. It is only a deed. The manager will get 10,000 taka salary at the end of month and he is appointed. And as it is a deed, so it is not a transaction. Am I clear? Okay. Dear learners, now on June 10, purchase product on credit. Purchase product on credit. So what will be the transaction? That means if we product purchased, that means cash has yet not gone from your business. Has yet not gone from business. That means on credit. Purchase product on credit. That means a liability has increased. Liability has increased. Side by side, product has come. That means it effect to the owner's equity. Okay. On 15, rent expenses, provided rent expenses 5,000 taka. That means cash has gone from your business. So cash will be decreased, that means assets will be decreased. On the other hand, if any expense is made, it will be deduct from equity. It will deduct from equity. Okay, cash has decreased, owner's equity has decreased. Product sold in cash 15,000 taka. As it is the income, so owner's equity or equity will increase. Side by side, cash has come to the business, cash will be increased. Cash will be increased, equity will be increased. Just alter of the transaction on 15 June. Okay. 28, on 28, paid 10,000 taka to the creditors. That means cash has gone, cash decreased 10,000 taka. Side by side, liabilities has decreased. How much amount? 10,000 taka. Cash decreased 10,000. Accounts payable, it is a liability, will be decreased 10,000. On 30 June, application was submitted on an application was submitted to the bank for loan purpose. As for 50,000 taka. For 50,000 taka, application was submitted to the bank for loan purpose. So it is an application, it is not a transaction. This is why it has no effects on accounting equation. However, these are the respective items will be submitted in front of you, and from here the respective requirements. Number 1, which elements are not transactions, only events. So the events which are not transactions, in totals how much amount will appear? Calculate the amounts which are not a transaction, only events, and calculate the respective amounts. Number 2, identify the respective transactions and explain through maintaining the accounting equation. And number 3, show the effect of transactions on accounting equation. So the marks distribution is 2, 4, 4. It is the practical solution. So dear learners, look the journals very clearly. Okay. So this is number 1. It is not a transaction. It is not also a transaction. Am I right? It is not a transaction. It is not a transaction. First one is deed and second one is an application. Okay. So now it is time to calculate and solve the first question's answer. For better understanding, I have submitted in front of you the questions so that you may realize very clearly. This is the question. So the here not not transactions, only events, and the total amount will be, it is a transaction, so it will not be included. It is also a transaction, so it will be not included in this section. It also will not be included, it also not. So only the two items, June 3 and June 30. So in what so we have to show on our examination, that means on answer script. Look, date, particulars, amount, taka, 2018 June 3, appointment manager by 10,000 taka. On June 30, an application is submitted to the bank for 50,000 taka, in total amount 60,000 taka. So the first question's answer we have got. So 2 marks question's answer have solved. Okay, now it is time to solve another question's answer to identify the transactions. For better understanding, the questions paper are now in front of you. So from here, which are not transactions, we will vanished. So on June 30, on June 3, it will not a transaction. Am I right? On June 30, it will not a transaction. Only 1, 10, 15, 20, and 28. These are the transactions. So now it is time to solve the second question's answer. Date, whether it is transaction or not. Explanation with the causes. Okay, 2018 June 1st. It is a transaction because cash and furniture has increased and owner's equity has also increased. On 10, it is a transaction. So owner's equity, it is a transaction on credit. So for this reason of being, liability has increased. Liability has increased, and for purchase, owner's equity has increased. Owner's equity for purchased, owner's equity has decreased. For purchase means it is an expenses, and expenses means owner's equity will decrease. Liability has increased. Liability has increased, owner's equity has decreased. Am I right? Okay. 15. Rent expenses in cash. That means owner's equity will decrease. It is an expenses as it is paid on cash. This is why cash has decreased. Liability has decreased. Cash has decreased. Assets, it will be assets. Okay, not L. It will be A. A has decreased. Assets has decreased and owner's equity has decreased. Rent, provided rent in cash 50,000. Owner's equity will be decreased, and cash has gone. This is why cash means assets will be decreased. Okay, on June 20, sold means revenue. Revenue increase means owner's equity has increased. Owner's equity has increased. Okay. A cash has come to the business. That means assets has increased. So assets has increased. Okay. And on June 28, paid to the creditors. How much amount? 10,000 taka. So for this reason of being, cash has gone from your business, and side by side, accounts payable has decreased. That means liability has decreased. So cash means assets has already decreased, and side by side, liabilities means creditors means liabilities has decreased. So here again I would like to repeat again, cash assets, furniture also assets has increased, and capital means owner's equity has also increased. Here purchase means expenses, so owner's equity will decrease and liability has increased, as it is not a cash transaction. If it is cash transaction, then cash, that means assets will decrease. Okay. On 15, provided rent in cash 5,000 taka. So it is an expenses, it will decrease from owner's equity will decrease, and cash also decrease. On June 20, purchased, sold cash, as it is income, so it will increase the owner's equity. Side by side, cash amount will increase, that means assets will be increased. On June 28, paid to the creditors. So creditors will decrease and cash also will decrease, as cash has gone from the business. So this is the question solutions of transactions identification, and for its marks will provided 4. Now it is time to solve the final, that means number 3, Mr. Tamim Iqbal accounts, that means transactions effect on accounting equation. Mr. Tamim Iqbal's transactions effect on accounting equation, prepared on June 2008. For better understanding, the respective questions are as follows. Okay, at first we will vanish the non-transactions item, that means only the events item. Okay, so here has gone and 30 has gone. These are the transactions. We have already explained about all the items very clearly. So let's go to the equations effect. Transactions effect on equation. Date, balance. It is not necessary, just for better understanding we have to show these figures in front of you. Assets equal to liabilities plus owner's equity, that means equity. And here the respective comments in front of you. Okay. There are several items we have calculated from here. Cash, furniture, accounts payable, capital. These 4 items are seen. Okay. Transaction number 1 on June 1st, 2018. Cash has increased 60,000 and furniture also increased 20,000. And 80, so these are the assets has increased, and side by side capital also increased. So first, if you bring any assets and started your business, it will be treated as capital. Okay. 110, the respective 110, at first you will draw the balances. 60,000 I have drawn, 20,000 I have drawn, accounts payable. Okay, now the questions, and 80,000 we have drawn. Okay, so purchased products on credit, that means expenses, so it will deduct from owner's equity, and as it is not a cash, we have to pay, so accounts liability has also increased. Accounts payable has increased by 30,000. Expenses, so it will decrease from owner's equity by 30,000. It is our expenses. So on 15, so we will draw the balances at first. Draw the balances. Draw the balances. Draw the balance. 80 minus 30, so 50. Even after that, the items of 5,000 provided expenses, provided rent. So it is an expenses. So it will deduct from owner's equity side by side. It will deduct from cash. How much amount? How much amount? 5,000 taka. Okay. 120. 20 means 120. 20 means sold cash. 15,000 taka. So cash has come to the business. Cash has come to the business 15,000 taka. And owner's equity has increased 15,000 taka. So again, we will draw the balances, draw the balances, draw the balances, draw the balances. Now it is time to consider 10,000 amount paid to the creditors. So liability has decreased by 10,000 taka. Side by side, cash has gone from the business by 10,000. So the balance is 60,000, 20,000, 30 minus 10, 20,000, 60,000. In total amount, 60 and 20 will be 80,000. 60 plus 20 will be 80,000. So in accounting equation, assets equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. Dear friends and my learners, you understand all things very clearly. I strongly believe that from this session, it is very clear to you in what procedure we have to follow and in what way we have to submit our question solution on answer script for the examination. So wishes with the best of luck. Today I have to finish here. I hope so you will understand all the items very clearly and sharply, and you will try to show your best competent at your exam, and for this reason you need to make more and more practice. So thank you all.